John Hampton, running for State Representative. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
I just came to ask for your vote, see if you have any questions or concerns. I'm running for Linda Schofield's open seat.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any questions right now.
If you do, my phone and email are on there, and I appreciate your vote on November 6th.
Great. Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
All right. Bye.
Why do you think it's important to go door to door like this?
It's the best way to find out what folks are thinking about and what's on their minds. And I think folks really appreciate it when they get to meet a candidate face to face. What I tell people when they say, well, why do you come to my door? I tell them, you know, you're going to hire me possibly by your vote. You're going to hire me to be your state representative. And why would you hire somebody you've never met? And so my philosophy is that I'm going to present myself to every voter, to come to them, to make it easy for them to make their decision, give them the information they need, let them answer the questions that they have, and so that they have all the information they need to make their decision. This is a real grassroots campaign. You know, we're not going to do any fancy television ads or 1,000 mailers to people's homes because people are overwhelmed by that. And we just want to, that's my style of being open and honest and transparent and connected to Simsbury residents. And this is one of the best ways to do it. I enjoy it, connecting with Simsbury residents at their doors. As I'm talking to folks, the most common issue right now is the economy. And 23 million people are out of work right now in this country. And a lot of families are struggling to find work. A lot of businesses and manufacturers are trying to stay afloat. So people are really anxious about where they're going to get their next paycheck and job stability. So the most common concern we hear from folks is the economic anxiety and how we can improve the economy.
I'm John Hampton, and I am proud to be a candidate for state representative representing Simsbury in the Connecticut General Assembly. I ask for your vote on November 6th because this is a critical election for Simsbury, and I believe I am the right person to carry on Linda Schofield's strong representation at the state capitol.
Well, I've known John since I first got involved with the Simsbury Democrats, and I've always been impressed with how articulate he is and how well he knows Simsbury. He's been born and raised in Simsbury, so he's a native, and he knows a million people here. He shows up at every event and town meeting and is very, very involved in the fabric of Simsbury. So I don't think you'll find anybody who could advocate for Simsbury more effectively than John, because he knows the town so well and because he's a very articulate speaker. Of course, he's also been involved in the Board of Selectmen for years, and I believe on other boards and commissions before that. So he's been a devoted volunteer. I always like to remind people that when you're on the Board of Selectmen, you're a volunteer. He's been a devoted volunteer for years in service to Simsbury. What many people may not know is John also used to work in the legislature. So he knows how the legislature works, how to, travel in that particular environment, and every environment has its own keys to success, and so he'll do well there because he knows how to get things done within the legislative world. So I support John, and I wish him the best in this coming election.
I'm running because as a native of Simsbury, I love this town and have a unique understanding of Simsbury's needs after dedicating the last 15 years as a volunteer on a number of boards and commissions, the last 9 years as a selectman. I have worked at the Capitol. I'm ready to go, ready to work to introduce bills and testify on legislation directly affecting Simsbury's future. Difficult times call for proven, experienced leadership, and these are difficult times indeed. The most recent state deficit projected at a staggering $27 million. Difficult times call for a state representative ready to go on day one to tackle a multitude of issues and to represent all of Simsbury, not just one constituency.
Pauline, I love the part that you're a Republican and I'm a Republican and he's a Democrat and we're still voting for him. Can you tell me why you're voting for him?
Well, I'm voting for him because he has done so much for several different groups. He's very, very involved with different commissions and different committees, and he's fiscally conservative, which I am, and as a Republican, and also he just tries to help out, and he's reduced the tax. Well, he's been instrumental in we seniors having reduced taxes, and the state and the town and the veterans all have become part of that.
John has been a strong advocate for veterans issues. By way of example, he's been hosting the annual holiday collection drive for the VA hospital and veterans home. He's hosted the veterans groups, the Veterans of Foreign Wars and the American Legion, on several occasions on his own television program through CPTV over the last 3 or 4 years. At one point, 2 or 3 years ago, he made it possible for us to open for the first time a Veterans Center at the town hall. We operated on Mondays from 4:30 to 6 or 6:30. The good news is it didn't last too long. We were manning it for 3 or 4 months, and it became obvious to us that because of the clientele we have in Simsbury, for the most part, there wasn't a great need for our services. People who were entitled to benefits or assistance were able to get it on their own without coming to us for help. But those are the kinds of things that he's been doing for us. John is always with us, side by side, shoulder to shoulder, on Veterans Day and Memorial Day. And yeah, he's a strong advocate for veterans.
I'm the only candidate in the race with a proven record in government, a proven record of streamlining government, a proven record of cutting budgets, a proven record of fiscal conservatism. On day one, I am ready to cut spending. I've already done that as a Simsbury SELECTMAN, voting for 0 increased budgets for the last 10 years without jeopardizing town services and programs and our wonderful quality of life. On day one, I'm ready to address pension reform. I've already done that in Simsbury, advocating for Simsbury to move towards a defined benefit plan. On day one, I am ready to draft legislation improving the lives of seniors. I've already done that in Simsbury, initiating a bipartisan senior tax relief committee that expanded benefits for the elderly, allowing them to stay in their homes.
John Hampton will make a great state representative. He has the experience of working at the Capitol and lobbying and testifying at the Capitol for elderly and senior and veterans issues. He has the experience of serving nearly 8 years on the Board of Selectmen, where he's chaired our emergency response, a team for the town, and he's everywhere. One of the things I like best about John is the way he'll start programs to find solutions to problems. He was the co-chair of the senior tax relief program when he saw that seniors were paying too much of their funds in taxes and tried to find ways to keep them in town. He worked to address the emergency response team as chair of the Public Safety Committee. He looked for ways to involve volunteers so that we can look out for people and help people prepare in times of emergency. And really, John is a problem solver. What people don't know about John is all the things he does that he doesn't talk about and doesn't take credit for. During the storm, he would visit and check on people who he knew were home. He delivers meals to folks. He visits people who are shut in. He'll often help people get rides to places that they need. He's already worked with Linda Schofield tremendously on a number of issues in solving problems that involve state programs or state assistance.
The reason why I think John is a good candidate, he really cares about people and the various issues. I've noticed this firsthand working with him. on the Town Aging and Disability Commission. He has been really good about addressing the needs of the town seniors and handicapped residents like myself. For example, he was really instrumental in helping me with the parking issue I was having in town. He arranged a meeting with him, me, the town police chief, and the chairman of my commission to discuss the issues I was having.
What were the issues?
Basically, not being able to park in handicapped spots. They were being taken by other people, or I was being blocked. I couldn't get in or out of my van.
On day one, I will be ready to support measures that protect our environment. I've already done that as the creator of the Clean Energy Task Force, and I'm the only candidate in the race endorsed by the Connecticut League of Conservation Voters.
A few years back, when I came up with the idea to produce a television show for Simsbury Community TV, I met John at, it must have been at some kind of green event, and he learned of my show and was very eager to be a guest on my show to talk about clean energy. And he was just very helpful in teaching me all about the clean energy program. And throughout the 2 or 3 years that I worked on Green Bee magazine, as I was attending different environmental functions locally, I would always see John there. And so I think he had a strong part in the Giffords Green Conversations and played a role in supporting my work on the Simsbury Recycling Committee at the time. And just has always been a strong proponent of various environmental green initiatives locally. And I just think that's a very strong quality to have as a candidate.
John will be a strong voice at the Capitol for the people of Simsbury, and more importantly, based on his strong record of trust and responsibility, he'll be able to take that experience with him at the Capitol. We know how John will vote at the Capitol because he's done that here in Simsbury. He's voted to cut the budget. He's voted to support education. He's voted to support elderly tax relief. He's voted to increase veterans programs. He's worked collaboratively with groups to create the Clean Energy Task Force. All of those things, he has the experience in Simsbury that he will take with him at the Capitol to be able to testify and introduce bills that will make the people of Simsbury have a better life here in our community. John will continue to do what Linda Schofield did, and that is to work full-time every day to address the issues that are needed to be addressed for the people of Simsbury. He'll be a great partner for me as First Selectman. As First Selectman, I work every day on state issues that affect our town, whether it's changes to state laws that allow emergency response to go more quickly, whether it's state funding for education, whether it's testifying up at the Capitol on changes in state laws. And it's important, so key to have a partner who is able to understand the legislative process as John does, and to work quickly through the process and build collaboration in introducing bills and getting the votes to pass legislation. I think what makes public service so important to John is because he grew up here in Simsbury, and he has a strong family support. His father, Dr. Walter Hampton, was a very well-known physician before he retired. He has a slew of siblings who live in town and live in the area. He's very involved in his church. He's very involved in his community, and he has really appreciated growing up in Simsbury and loved Simsbury, and that, I think, is the driving force for him to want to give back, first as a volunteer, and now on the Board of Selectmen, and now as a state representative for Simsbury.
Keep the woods.
You know where I stand on the issues because I've been there for Simsbury and will continue to be there for Simsbury at the state capitol. Let's talk about the economy. We would do well to listen to what economists are recommending. We need to get our fiscal house in order. Stop spending more than we take in. Stop trying to tax our way out of problems. start eliminating the waste and downsizing state government. Simsbury can do it, why can't the state? We need to promote private sector investment and job creation to drive Connecticut's economic recovery. Connecticut's economy is growing, but slowly. Business confidence in the state is waning. Employers are struggling with high costs and hesitant to invest in the state and create more jobs. Only a strong private sector can provide the kind of job creation Connecticut needs to drive economic recovery and provide the resources the state needs to maintain critical public services. Let's streamline state government. We've begun the process of reducing the number of state agencies and finding efficiencies within government, but more needs to be done. Proven practices and efficiency strategies can create a more effective and efficient state government. Connecticut should explore the use of lean techniques and other efficiency strategies through state government to maximize taxpayer dollars. We should also continue and accelerate the use of qualified nonprofit organizations to provide a wide range of cost-effective, community-based services. Let's work through state agencies to limit the use of overtime, especially for those nearing retirement age. And we can streamline the effectiveness of state IT and communication resources to allow the state to gradually reduce costs without loss of service. Regionalism is a cooperative sharing of programs and services, is always a viable cost-saving measure that Simsbury has used well. Let's talk about small business and jobs. In the last 15 years, 64% of job creation has come from small and startup businesses. Startups are so important. We need to allow entrepreneurs to flourish, especially those that focus on innovation. We are the country of ingenuity. Let's give small businesses the ability to grow and remove obstacles and burdensome regulations. I will work hard to preserve key programs that support small business, such as the Small Business Express, which enables the State Department of Economic and Community Development to provide loans, forgivable loans, and matching grants to approved small businesses. The agency is expediting the paperwork process to get resources into the hands of businesses more quickly. The Step Up program, a new state initiative designed to promote job creation by providing incentives to employers that hire unemployed job seekers. 65 new employees have already been hired, and an additional 135 job seekers were in the process of being hired. Let's expand the business-friendly concierge program. We need to break down the barriers between businesses and the state. Lawmakers should expand the concierge program, developing this one-stop resources for businesses to include support personnel to help employers quickly navigate state government. We should optimize the use of tax credits. Research and innovation grow jobs, and Connecticut is a leader in both. But Connecticut's research and development and experimentation and fixed capital tax credits are limited by a 70% cap. Let's eliminate the 70% cap of R&D and fixed capital tax credits, or at a minimum outline a gradual rollback timeline for eliminating the tax credit caps. We need to provide new higher tax credits for small businesses and expand the angel investor tax credit. Let's modernize Connecticut's infrastructures. Strategic, prioritized investments can bring our aging transportation system into the 21st century and enable our economy and jobs to grow. Let's require the DOT to develop a plan that coordinates all proposed and approved projects aimed at modernizing the I-91 and I-95 corridors connecting Connecticut with New York and Boston markets. And we need to support the efforts of the new Connecticut Airport Authority to promote the greater economic development opportunities associated with an airport. Let's talk about education. Education must become a more significant state priority if we are ever to grow jobs. Education and the economy are intrinsically entwined. We need to provide all our young people with the education they need to be productive citizens and contributors to the Connecticut economic vitality. Our economy's most important strategic asset is the skill, innovation, and productivity of Connecticut's workforce. Today's increasingly competitive global economy demands that we raise the academic performance of all students and close the achievement gap. Our state and local governments spend a great deal on public education, and it's critical that those resources are used to create effective learning environments. The Education Cost Sharing Grant Program, ECS, remains significantly underfunded, shifting the tax burden to local property taxpayers. If we are to meet the constitutional goal of ensuring substantially equal educational opportunity and enhance our economic competitiveness, we must correct the ECS grant formula by restoring key factors envisioned in its original design, like accuracy, transparency, and equity of education finance formulas. We should use data sources that better reflect towns' resources and needs. We should require a common chart of accounts for all municipalities and school districts. Pre-K, the path to educational opportunity for all students in Connecticut begins before kindergarten. I will fight to defend against all cuts to early care and education. It's time to ensure that every child in Connecticut has a seat in an accredited preschool program. For parents and students, I believe that it's so important to give them optimal choices in their educational experience. And teachers, let's stop teacher bashing. Teachers are vital to our children's welfare. Of course, we need fair teacher evaluation, tenure, and certification. Let's select the best and most appropriate candidates for the teaching profession. As lawmakers, we need to establish a system for educators to identify and encourage and recruit high-achieving students to pursue a career in teaching. New teachers should represent America's diversity, be encouraged to teach in underserved communities, and fill hard-to-staff curriculum areas. We need to enhance anti-bullying tools. The state legislature passed comprehensive bullying and cyberbullying legislation in 2011. This serves as a strong building block toward a more comprehensive, school-wide anti-bullying effort that can promote better, safer learning environments throughout our schools. We need to remain focused on ways to implement laws to prevent and address bullying. And let's provide the services and social health support that children need and families need under one school roof. Public schooling in Connecticut must be more than simply what happens in the classroom. It also must be about the daily needs of students and their access to healthcare services, community supports, and other wraparound services that are enriching the mind, body, and readiness for learning. I hope that we can expand the use of school climate surveys to enhance the learning environment. Like North Carolina, the Connecticut State Department of Education should develop school climate surveys and extend their use throughout Connecticut schools, especially low-performing schools, and provide resources for addressing the results in school improvement plans. I would also like to see us develop incentives for employers to provide time for parents to participate in school day activities. On the issue of health care, our current system is not perfect, but it's a start. We can't sit around and do nothing, already paying way too much for the uninsured. We have made strides in access, but not affordability. I am open to changes and improvements, but I wouldn't want to change the components that keep children on parents' plan up to the age of 26. Many young adults are looking for jobs and need that coverage while they're seeking employment. Nor would I want to change the part about pre-existing conditions, especially when many people are changing jobs. Affordable insurance exchanges are beneficial as well, designed to make buying health coverage easy and more affordable. Exchanges allow individuals and small businesses to compare health plans, get answers to questions, find out if they're eligible for tax credits for private insurance or health programs, like the Children's Health Insurance Program, and enroll in a health plan that meets their needs. Seniors and veterans, we cannot forget our greatest generation and those who served our country in the armed forces. We can never repay the debt to those whose shoulders we stand upon today, but we must stand up for our senior citizens and our veterans. I'm proud of my record of creating meaningful and substantive programs for seniors and veterans, and will continue to be a strong voice for them in Hartford. I will advocate for improved aging in place measures, fight for more accountability for home care professionals and nursing home staff, increase affordable elderly housing opportunities, and improve veterans' access to public assistance programs. I ask for your vote on November 6th so I can be Simsbury's voice at the state capitol and continue to be a strong advocate for Simsbury. The next 2 years will be difficult ones for our state and our town. We will need to cut spending, maintain Simsbury educational excellence by addressing education funding, retaining and growing jobs. The next state representative needs to be ready to go to introduce bills and testify on legislation within days of getting sworn in. Because of my experience as a selectman, small business consultant, and legislative staffer at the Capitol, I understand the legislative process and am ready to go to take over where our wonderful state representative Linda Schofield left off. Simsbury deserves to have a full-time state representative with a proven record of cutting budgets, supporting regional cooperation with experience, working with diverse groups in a bipartisan manner. I grew up in this town, went to school here, and have volunteered thousands of hours over the past 15 years as a volunteer on a variety of boards and commissions, and has served my town as a selectman for the past 9 years, all because of my deep love and commitment to our community. I'm ready to take that experience and make it work for the residents of Simsbury and Hartford. I will reduce costs at the state level, just as I have in Simsbury, cutting costs while finding creative ways to provide services. I'll fight for funding to support our excellent educational system, work to streamline regulations to grow jobs, and honor our commitment to our seniors and veterans. I've always been there for the people of Simsbury. Now I'm asking you to be there for me and to vote for John Hampton on November 6th. Thank you.